Hello and welcome once again to Redona Designs. I'm your host, Riddick Okwemba. And in the last three videos, we covered quite extensively on how we can model the product that we see on the screen, which is a sheet metal enclosure. And in the first video, just as a recap, for those who are just joining us, you can watch our first video where we went through the step-by-step process on how to come up with this parametric design that is custom, that you can change the dimensions on a fly and actually use it to fit very many of your projects. And from there, we went to our second video where we actually created the DXF files. Those are the machine part files that are going to be used at the shop floor for actually laser cutting, stamping, or even cutting by hand to produce your flat pattern. And in the third video, the last one that I did, was where we covered how to create the bend notes, the information that is going to guide you or the person who's going to be manufacturing on how you bend this part in order to achieve the part that we can see on our screen. And I promise that we're going to look at how we can automate some of these processes so that we can appreciate that SolidWorks can also take away most of the burden of the heavy lifting. So without further ado, I'm going to start on today's video, and we are going to tackle the macros. So macros are ways where the SolidWorks can handle most of the operations in the background as you focus on the actual modeling. So the macro that I'm going to provide today is going to be linked in the description, so feel free to download it and then you can follow with me. So in order for us to use this macro, first of all, I'm going to save this part so that we don't lose our original file. We're going to go to File, Save As, and then you can create another folder in the same location, and we can name this part sheet metal tutorial, say macro. And remember, don't just save as copy and open. What this one helps us in is we can still retain our original file, but this is a copy of our original file. So in case anything ever happens to our file, we can still go back to our file. But if you use save as, sometimes when you hit save on the part, the changes are going to reflect on the original part. Okay, so after that, we click on the close the original document so that we're sure we're just working on the part we've just made. Okay, so some few housekeeping rules. You can see that over here on our cut list, the feature manager tree, we don't have proper names. So as for the cover, it's just called move body copy 1 and then folder 2. So let's change the names so that we are not confused. So this one, let's name it cover. And this one, let's name it base. And we're going to understand that in just a minute. And then let us run the macro. And as the macro is running, I'm going to explain what the macro does. So we go to tools, we go to macro, and then run. And then we're going to navigate to the directory where we've saved our macro. So in my case, I've saved it on the desktop in a folder called macro. Here it is. And then I'm going to click on open. And it's going to run. So you're going to see this cursor, the thing that is rotating. It shows that there's a background process that is happening. So what the macro is going to do, it's going to take each of these parts, each of the bodies. It's going to create a configuration that only has that body and then shut down every other configuration. So we are going to have only one part for each body, as opposed to how it is like there are two parts together. and it's going to delete the other part and do that for the rest. So what this one helps us to do, and then it's going also to create that part based off of that configuration. So what that is going to help us in, you remember when we were making the drawings for the parts, we had to select the body. Now we don't have to select the body because it is only that one body that is going to be encompassed in the file. So that's a mouthful, but let it just finish the process and then I'll show you what I mean. So basically this is an approach where you can just click on the macro, and then let's say for example you have 5 parts or 10 parts all together. You don't want to make each part from each body. It's going to be very cumbersome, and we have a pop-up here. It tells us the export is complete, and let me show you what it has just done. So let's go to the folder, and you can see that we have the main part here, and then you have the cover and the base. So it has created the 2 parts for us. So even if it had 5 parts, 6 parts, 10 parts, 100 parts, you name it, you can just let it do its thing. And it has done that without any input from us. So it's just click and wait. So let's first just close this part. Into access to save the results and automation process. Let's just click on don't save and let us open and navigate to the folder, and let's first open the piece. And you can see the base by itself, and then we can open the cover, and you can see the cover by itself. So what this one has helped us to do, so if we want to make a file, let's say for example if you want to make a drawing from the part, or you name it, it's going to be a very easy process for us from here on in. And then also you can decide to create an assembly of the 2 parts, and you can use features, let's say for example from the feature tree from the library that you can't use in the part mode. So let's say for example we want to make an assembly from the part. Now we are able to have the base, and then just click on the green check mark. And this is another tip, so that if you know that these parts have the same origin, you don't really have to mate them. You just click on the cover and you click on OK, and they'll be mated just the way you had designed them. So this is another way. The only difference is now you cannot use it to, you cannot slide it, you cannot push it. They are all fixed. So in order for you to do that, you have to go through the mating process. But in our case, this is a stationary part, and you can see we've come up with an assembly relatively fast. So that's one thing I wanted to show you guys, that this is something that SolidWorks can do. And I'll try and advance this macro in such a way that it gives you the parts, and it also gives you the DXF files all in a fly. So I hope you've learned something, and you can download the macro in the description. I think by then I will have advanced it to give you the DXF files. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've learned something. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and see you in the next videos. And in case you have something, you have a problem, I want to, especially for the students, I want to open up a forum where we can discuss, we can see how we can, you know, give you alternatives, methods of manufacturing your projects, because most of the people right now are just locked in one way, specific way of doing something. Let's say, for example, the in thing is the 3D printing. Because you have a 3D printer, you want to 3D print everything, but you might find that there are other processes that can help you to achieve your aim faster or in a more efficient way with better materials. You can play around with several materials. You can play around with wood. You can play around, as we can see, sheet metal, and achieve really good results faster in more efficient ways. So this is a program that I'm thinking to launch. So if you're up for it, you're here in Kenya, maybe abroad, this is something that I can think about, and we can work on it. Something that I've been thinking about. And so yeah, so thank you for joining me, and see you in the next video. Cheers.